Imagine walking into a major US airport in the middle of summer. Instead of crowds and long lines, you see empty seats and delayed flights. Gate areas that should be packed with travelers sit half empty. The restaurants have more staff than customers. The departure boards show flights, but many seats remain unsold. America's airports are getting quieter because fewer people are flying. From Las Vegas to Miami, tourism numbers are dropping. International visitors are choosing other countries. Local travelers are staying close to home. The entire system built to handle millions of passengers is starting to feel abandoned. This isn't just a temporary dip or a seasonal change. Something bigger is happening to American travel, and it's showing up in airport terminals across the country. Here are 10 simple reasons why this is happening and why it might continue. If you're finding this information helpful, please hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. We break down complex topics like this every week, making them easy to understand. Your support helps us keep creating content that matters. Now, let's get into the reasons behind America's quiet airport. Flying costs too much. Flying used to be something ordinary families could afford. Now it feels like a luxury item. A simple round-trip flight from Chicago to Miami used to cost under $200. Today, that same ticket regularly costs over $400, and that's just the basic fare. But the real shock comes when you add everything else. Want to bring a suitcase? That's another $30 each way. Need to pick your seat? Add $15 to $50 more. Hungry during the flight? A small snack costs $8. By the time a family of 4 books a simple domestic trip, they're looking at over $1,000 just for the flights. Many families do the math and walk away. They're not saying no because they don't want to travel, they're saying no because they simply can't afford it. Even a quick 1-hour flight between neighboring states, which used to be a spontaneous weekend idea, now requires serious budget planning. Airlines point to rising fuel costs, staff shortages, and increased security expenses. While some of this is true, the bottom line remains simple: flying has moved from being a normal part of life to feeling like something only wealthy people do regularly. 2. Travel has become awful. The entire flying experience has turned into an endurance test. Even when people can afford tickets, they're starting to question whether the misery is worth it. Your journey begins hours before takeoff, standing in security lines that barely move. TSA agents seem overwhelmed, and the process feels designed to frustrate rather than protect. Once you're through security, the real waiting begins. Flight delays have become so common that airlines don't even apologize anymore. They just announce another hour delay like it's normal. Then comes the gate shuffle. Your departure gate changes twice. The boarding process is chaos, with different groups called at random times. When you finally get on the plane, there's no room in the overhead bins because airlines now charge for checked bags, forcing everyone to cram their belongings into the cabin. The planes themselves feel like flying sardine cans. Seats have gotten smaller while passengers have gotten larger. The person in front of you reclines immediately, crushing your knees. The air smells stale, the bathrooms are tiny, and the flight attendants seem as tired as the passengers. When you finally land, your troubles aren't over. Baggage claim takes forever. Assuming your luggage even made the same flight you did, the rental car counter has a line wrapped around the building. Your hotel shuttle is running an hour behind schedule. Social media is filled with travel horror stories, families sleeping on airport floors, passengers stranded for days with no help, flights cancelled at the last minute with no explanation. People share these experiences like war stories, and each shared nightmare convinces someone else to just stay home. 3. Foreign visitors are staying away. For decades, people from around the world saved money for years just to experience America. They dreamed of seeing the Statue of Liberty, walking through Times Square, visiting the Grand Canyon, or taking their kids to Disney World. That dream is fading fast. The visa process has become a nightmare. In countries like India, South Africa, and parts of South America, people wait up to 500 days just to get an interview at a US consulate. That's not a delay, that's a wall. Most potential tourists give up and choose a different country where they can actually get permission to visit. Even if they get through the visa process, travelers face confusion at US borders. Entry rules change frequently, and visitors arrive not knowing what documents they need or what questions they'll face. Stories of long waits, random secondary inspections, and rude treatment spread quickly on social media and travel forums. But the biggest problem might be America's image overseas. International news focuses on school shootings, political protests, and random violence. Even though most of America is perfectly safe for tourists, The headlines that reach other countries paint a picture of a chaotic, unpredictable, and sometimes dangerous place. The result is clear in the numbers. Tourist visas applications are down in key markets. Foreign airlines are reducing flights to American cities. Major attractions like theme parks and famous shopping districts report fewer international visitors each year. Every foreign tourist who decides not to come means less money spent on hotels, restaurants, tours, and souvenirs. 4. Everything costs more. Inflation has hit every part of daily life. And when people's budgets get tight, vacations are the first thing to go. Families are doing brutal math: pay off credit cards or take a trip, fix the car or visit relatives. The responsible choice usually wins. Hotels that charged $120 per night 2 years ago now want $180 for the same room. A restaurant meal that cost $15 now runs close to $30 after tax and tip. Parking fees at attractions have doubled. Museum tickets, amusement park passes, and even simple activities like mini golf have all gotten more expensive. The problem isn't just that vacation costs have risen, it's that wages haven't kept up. Many people earn the same amount they did before inflation hit, but their purchasing power has shrunk dramatically. After paying for groceries, gas, utilities, and rent, there's simply less money left over for fun. For families with children, the numbers become impossible quickly. Feeding 4 people at any tourist destination easily costs $100 for lunch. Add in admission tickets, parking, and souvenirs, and a simple day trip can run $300 or more. A week-long family vacation now requires the kind of financial planning that used to be reserved for major purchases like cars. 5. People travel close to home. The rise of local and regional tourism has been one of the biggest shifts in American travel. Instead of flying across the country for vacation, people are discovering amazing places within driving distance. State parks that were once overlooked are now booking up months in advance. Small lakeside towns are seeing record numbers of visitors. Historic sites, scenic drives, and quirky roadside attractions are getting attention they never had before. People are realizing they don't need to fly to Hawaii when there's a beautiful lake 2 hours away, or travel to New York when their own state has interesting cities to explore. This trend makes perfect sense. Local trips eliminate all the stress of air travel: no security lines, no flight delays, no lost luggage. You can pack as much as you want, leave when you're ready, and come home whenever you feel like it. If something goes wrong, you're not stranded in a strange city trying to figure out how to get home. The cost savings are enormous too. No airfare, no rental cars, no airport parking fees. You can stay in a nice local hotel for the same price you'd pay for basic accommodations in a major tourist city. Many families have discovered they can take several local weekend trips for the cost of one big vacation. 6. Work from home changed everything. The pandemic forced millions of Americans to work from home, and many never went back to the office. This employment shift quietly revolutionized how people travel, breaking patterns that airports and airlines had counted on for decades. Before remote work became common, travel followed predictable patterns. People took vacations during school breaks, holiday weekends, and summer months. Business travelers flew on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Everyone competed for the same flights at the same times, creating the busy seasons that supported the entire travel industry. Remote work destroyed those patterns. People with flexible schedules now travel during traditionally quiet months when prices are lower and crowds are smaller. They take Wednesday to Sunday trips instead of weekend getaways. Some remote workers have become digital nomads, spending months at a time in different locations without needing to fly back and forth regularly. 7. Airlines cut flights. While passengers complain about poor service and high prices, airlines have been quietly making cuts that make travel even more difficult. Routes that used to be routine have disappeared, often without public announcement. Smaller cities that once had direct flights to major hubs now have nothing, forcing residents to drive hours to reach a functioning airport. The impact goes beyond simple inconvenience. When a mid-sized city loses its direct flights, business suffers, tourism drops, and the local economy takes a hit. Travelers who used to fly from their hometown now face a choice: drive 2 or 3 hours to a larger airport, or just stay home. Many choose to stay home. 8. America's image problems. America's reputation as a welcoming tourist destination has taken serious damage in recent years. The country that once symbolized opportunity and adventure now appears chaotic and unpredictable to many international observers. Foreign news coverage of America focuses heavily on negative events, mass shootings, political violence, social unrest, and bitter cultural divisions. While these incidents don't represent daily life for most Americans, they dominate headlines overseas. Potential tourists see these stories and wonder if America is safe to visit. The situation has created a perception problem that's hard to overcome. Families planning vacations ask themselves why they should risk visiting a country that seems unstable when they could go somewhere that feels safer and more welcoming. Tour operators in other countries report that clients specifically ask them to suggest alternatives to American destinations. 9. Americans go overseas instead. A surprising number of American travelers have discovered something that changes everything. International travel often provides better value than domestic trips. A flight from New York to Paris can cost the same as a flight from New York to Los Angeles. But once you arrive in Europe, your money goes much further. Hotels, restaurants, and attractions in many foreign countries cost significantly less than their American equivalents. A nice hotel room in Lisbon might cost $80 per night, while a comparable room in San Francisco runs $250. A good meal in Bangkok costs $8, but the same quality meal in Miami costs $35. Transportation, entertainment, and shopping all follow similar patterns. Beyond the financial benefits, many American travelers report that the experience abroad feels more organized and welcoming. European trains run on time, Asian cities are cleaner, and service standards in many countries exceed what travelers experience at home. There's also the excitement of experiencing completely different cultures, foods, and landscapes. 10. Travel has changed forever. What started as a temporary disruption during the pandemic now looks like a permanent transformation. The old patterns of American travel, predictable seasons, reliable routes, steady growth, aren't coming back. Instead, we're seeing the emergence of completely new travel behaviors that the industry hasn't figured out how to serve. Remote work gave people flexibility they never had before. Rising costs forced them to become more selective about spending. Bad airport experiences pushed them toward alternatives. Once travelers discovered better options, whether that's local destinations, international trips, or just staying home, they developed new habits that don't include the traditional American vacation. What this means for the future. The American travel industry faces a choice: adapt to these new realities or continue to decline. Travelers have shown they're willing to spend money on experiences that provide good value, treat them well, and offer something genuinely special. They're just not finding those experiences in traditional American tourism. Success in this new environment will require more than lower prices or better marketing. It will demand fundamental improvements in the travel experience. From airport efficiency to hotel value to destination authenticity, the industry needs to earn back travelers' trust and prove that American vacations are worth choosing over international alternatives or local options.